I'm sure that sniper is fun at parties. You guys know I never call people out, and like, I mean, we can never know for certain. If he came in chat and said like, "Oh, hey, by the way, I'm just a fan. I'm not sniping, but I knew what your deck was, GG." Then I mean, I'm sure he wouldn't be sniping, but I mean, that's definitely the most suspicious player I've played against in the last like 2 months, apart from Vingels. And we all know Vingels just has the Millennium Eye. Draven Ezreal. Do you keep Guiding Touch in your opening hand in this matchup? I think we kind of win by going aggressive. I almost want to keep Zap, but in this aggressive version, I think I don't. Looks like a full mole. I really want to hit combo hands of like Starry, Scampy Starry, and like Butcher stuff as well. So we can't really get as good of a Butcher. I guess I Sketcher turn 1. I don't know. I was probably supposed to Butcher turn 1. Weird that I Sketchered, huh? Our hand is a little in need of more draw here. I don't have like enough security to not go Messenger, I think. Yeah, drawing Burblefish early definitely feels not great. So what is he floating mana for? I mean, I don't think I ever play into this anyway. Draven on this turn. I mean, I can threaten Draven with Messenger here. Messenger Pale Cascade. I'd be okay with. If I like attack, he blocks Draven to Sketcher. I Pale, he Mystic shots. I don't even really mind that. Like, I mean, his Mystic is down, and our Pale got us to draw cards. So that's, you know, there's value in that. Question is, do I go for stats on Butcher? And the answer is yes. It's Ezreal Draven. We need survivability. So we can't go for value on Butcher. We have to go for value on Butcher and not, like, you know, not try to go for that 2-chip damage there. I think it's so important in this matchup that Butcher is a 3-3. Well, Pale Cascading this Butcher kind of sucks. I don't think I like Pale Cascading here. I'm pretty sure. Like, we're just turning on a lot of, like, cheap removals. That hesitation, by the way, waiting, like, 6 seconds there told him I have Pale. But we want to use Pale on something that I can get the damage immediately from it, and I don't, like, set up a flock unnecessarily. So it's just a bait to, like, try to keep something alive. We don't really want to play with that mentality. So Zap here is alright. It stops the Ezreal from attacking, which has value. Attacking told him you had Pale. Not really. Pale's always bluffable. You can't say you have Pale. You can say you don't have Pale, but Pale's almost always bluffable. That's why I was saying earlier that like attacking is just good to bluff Pale, because like you only give them information by not attacking. When you attack, I mean, your odds of having Pale go up a bit, but reasonably speaking, any good player would pretty much always bluff Pale. That's kind of why Pale is so good. It's like, it's the perfect early game bluff card. Like, they can basically never block you on turn like 2, 3, 4 in a lot of situations. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why Pale is good, don't get me wrong. I guess it's Zoe here. I mean, we never protect Zoe in this matchup. I wonder why I'm thinking about playing Zoe here then. Really makes you think. It's a 1 health unit. What is he gonna do? Static Shock me? So he Static Shocks here. He hits the Zoe and the Zap. And then we attack with the Zap, and then he, like, flocks the Zap, and then we Guiding Touch. It's perfect. Also, Burblefishes kind of suck in this matchup. I'm not going to lie. This matchup feels really bad. We have a lot of, like, units that just kind of die to damage. And his deck does this interesting damage strategy. Still no Gamba? Sad. Listen, guys. Nobody's sadder than me for the lack of Gamba here. Okay, hopefully I'll get it back tomorrow, but I said that yesterday, and I said that the day before too. I mean, I can technically skip my attack and burn his mana. It's very teehee to do that, and we need to get damage in. Again, when we look at what we talked about last game, which is that against Lee Sin, you know, they kind of need to press their buttons to get to their late game. He's running Faron, and that's part of the power of running cards like this, is that he doesn't need to push buttons to get to that late game, right? Like, he can pass and burn mana and not mind. And that's very powerful in Runeterra. That's a large part of the reason why Ezreal Draven is so good and Field of Rush is so good. Because the identity of a win condition that makes you happy to burn mana, like just something that you play on a late turn instead of something that's conditional win condition that like you need to set up, allows you to generate reactivity in more turns, right? Because you can take more aggressive open passes. And the more turns you get reactive options, the more value you get. Like, reactive options matter so much. I honestly think you'd really enjoy playing Mill, Hexcore, Foundry go hard. Yeah, I would. I mean, it's not like a super... Like, I feel like I can't really do a crazy deck build with it. I guess I just pick a card here. It's very intricate. I did have a lot of fun the time I played it, yeah. So, like, for example, right now, he might not want to pass, but this is the kind of pass that something like a Lee Sin deck could never take, but something like an Ezreal Draven could actually consider. Where, like, he's at 6 and I'm at 5, and I'm the one that needs to be putting pressure on him, and, you know, the Fron is forcing me to act. This is probably not the best example, by the way, but it's just, you know, while we're talking about it. I guess I'll just do this. I mean, I don't know. I've got guiding touches for Phlox. My land units kind of don't matter, but I do want to stop as much damage as possible. And I kind of want to use these guiding touches early and aggressively because I want to threaten Burblefish stuff. If I Croaker the Zap, I don't get to use Touch for as value. Their hands are almost always like Flock or Scorched Earth. The deck runs so many combos of Flock and Scorched Earth that you should always assume a Draven Ezreal opponent's going to draw like 2 of them, like 2 Flock or 1 Flock, 1 Scorched Earth. So we can kind of like incorporate that into how we're sequencing out our turns. So now unless it's 2 Flock, you know, we don't need more than 2 Touch, so I can just go kind of open Croaker the Elusive here. So he went down to 3 mana, which means if his hand is Flock Scorched Earth, then I'm safe by only saving enough mana for 1 Guiding Touch here, right? We get punished by the double Flock hand, but the odds of that are a little bit lower, so I'm happy to just go down that 1 mana. Discarding Fron, yeah, that means he has a second one, pretty much always. So Twisted Fate comes down here. Again, this is not a matchup where he levels up. Right now, we don't control the ground anymore. He's got Dredger and Housebiter. Right now, anything that doesn't represent elusive damage is pretty bad. Although TF can definitely bluff an attack with Guiding Touch. I think this might be the turn where we want to try to play both Burblefishes and hope that Pale Cascade value is enough to get there. I might just use... I really want to save Guiding Touch for units if possible, though. Wow, that's kind of awkward. I think I might have to start by Guiding Touching my face. No. I really want to play the Burblefishes this turn. Maybe it's bad too. Maybe I have to wait on it. I think I have to force TF. The only way to force TF as a threat is to do it right now, basically. And I guess I can blue card off of this. The red card dealing 1 damage to face might actually be relevant. As stupid as that is in a game like this. Gold card can also sometimes matter for like stopping the Dredger from blocking. But I mean, the thing is, we're kind of assuming we don't have ground units for value. Like, we're kind of assuming he's gonna play a Sump Dredger or a Spider. He's got 10 mana, right? So I don't think we can like go in for trying to own the land right now. We need to just make sure we're saving our options to counter his. So we still do want the ability to try to Burblefish. I can Pale Cascade first. That gives me more max. Yeah, this Pale Cascade is good. This is like the perfect Pale Cascade because we've got the 2 Guiding Touches to threaten. And if he flocks on the chain there, by the way, then it goes before the static, so Guiding Touch counters it. So I'm thinking about doing this attack now. I mean, we've got the 2 Guiding Touches, which are going to be pretty important. We're threatening 4 damage to face here. He's down to 6, and he used his Static Shock, which is kind of interesting. If I could play both of these Burblefish at this point, I might, but I don't think I can. There's a call to play Zoe before this attack, but I think that's really trolly. I think I might need to keep up both Guiding Touches. Actually, what punishes me playing Zoe here? Static, a second Static? That's just not likely enough. If he's smart, he should probably trade off the Ezreal here, by the way. If he's trying to kill my Zap, he needs to pre-block with his Ezreal so that he doesn't tank 4 when the Zap survives. That's really, really important. Yeah, so there's a chance he's good here. Like, because if he has another damage spell, then because he was able to commit the Flock first, he can enable the Flock on the stack. Probably Mystic. Could be second Static. And yeah, we don't have a way of protecting the Zap anymore, which is kind of sad. Our Pale on the TF is still the 2 damage to face that we wanted, and I think that's just what we go for here. He can't really stop this damage from getting value, and we draw aggressively, which is nice. Not pool sharking with the fleeting pool shark is kind of sad, but it also kind of doesn't matter that much. We're just going for max damage at this point. We literally red carded with this TF just to push 1 more damage. Like, we're in damage. Like, we're just inching out any minor amount of damage we can possibly get. And hopefully it'll work. I personally think that maybe he's just not identifying what our deck is really trying to do, but he discarded Fron, which usually means he has a second one. But even if he doesn't have a second one, he's supposed to be taking blocks like this. Like, he should be aware that his lose condition, the only way he loses to my deck is taking that damage in this position. Because, like, I mean, I have a bunch of elusives and stuff. So I feel like he should be kind of trading down with some of these. Like, he wins the long game, and he should be aware of that. So, yeah, I mean, that is a bit of a threat. Like, I don't think we can block off of this TF. Man, I actually totally could. But this TF actually... I mean, this TF will never level up, right? He's getting Mystic Shot with the Ezreal. Yeah, I mean... Land units don't matter. It's kind of sad. I know we wanted that TF to level up. It's 4 out of 8, but against Ezreal Draven and the fact that it's a land unit, we just can't really play for it right now. We're happy burning here if he wants to burn mana and Mystic Shot. He kind of has to play out his hand a little bit. He can't burn that much mana. If I skip again, then he could maybe pass and skip the Mystic. I would be fine with that too, honestly. I think I want to pick a card before that happens though. So we want to pick the card in this hand that has the least value, which is Fortune Croaker. Because again, we're just going for air units, and we're valuing their health. And Fortune Croaker just damages one of them. So next turn, you know, we'll just play a bunch of these elusives. He should probably take his Mystic Shot here, but might not actually be worth it for him. He does stop us from playing cards this turn by keeping it in hand. Oh, he just discarded the Fleeting Mystic. That's interesting. So he's used 1 Static Shock. Common versions of the deck. So my version runs 1 Static Shock. The most common version, I think, runs more, like 2 or 3. 3 Static Shock. And I think that's much more likely what he has. I run 2. Yeah, it runs anywhere between 1 and 3. I should Puff Cap here? Not necessarily. I mean, I'm pretty happy passing no matter what. I don't think we need, like, crazy mana efficiency anyway. And we are about to draw 3 cards. I don't know. Maybe I should just Guiding Touch here then. Because we're about to draw 3 cards. Yeah, pick a card actually gets really countered by Puff Cap. That's true. Taking a lot of damage to that. Yeah, he kind of has to double Puff Cap here. I guess if I play Zoe now, that's fine. Zoe's level up is kind of never mattering here. But we're going to need this mana efficiency. This mana slow rolling. Well, we're kind of slow rolling ourselves. Like, there's definitely some turns where I do, like, spend time thinking about irrelevant things. Like, a lot of people that complain about my roping, it's like... I do usually need to think about a lot, but there are for sure a lot of turns where I could just like press pass like 5 seconds earlier. And that was one of them. Yikes. I mean, max elusives here. We've got a total of 12 mana, burble 0. So we have max elusives. So that's a committed 9 mana, and the burbles give us 3 off of the spells. So I think I literally just play all of my spell mana here. I can zap Sprayfin right now. If I draw a 2 mana spell off of zap, which this deck has a lot of 2 mana spells. Hush is likely. We haven't played a single Hush this game. If this zap draws Hush and we want to play both of the Burblefish's spells, then we can't zap first. But I think that's kind of too unlikely. I'll Zoe first. Burble first. No, we want him to like Mystic or Static before we play Burble. And we can actually kind of bait that because people don't really expect Burble. So if we like tap out most of our elusives, then there's some hands that would just be like, oh, well, he doesn't have any more mana. Let's just Static here or something like that. I mean, it's kind of a mistake to do that, but getting Spell Thief is a huge bailout from Burble. That'd be sweet. We could get Mystic or Flock to kill the Ezreal. That would be really big. So what are we scared of here? That's probably a Tri-Beam. Yeah, so yeah, by playing Zoe first, we kind of baited out Tri-Beam on my least valuable unit. That's perfect. He didn't hit an elusive. That's kind of what we wanted. And now we can definitely try to force, like, you know, multi-removal by coming in for the Shadestalkers first. Like I said, we're just all about the elusives right now. We're all about this little chip damage we can get. Will you sacrifice all your floating cards? Oh, hell yeah. No, I'm not playing any of these. We low rolled with pick a card. Right? We're either winning this turn or not at all. That's what's happening right now. We're on a 1-turn clock, guys. So Rummage is actually kind of good news for us. Rummaged away a second Tri-Beam. That's interesting. I believe he still has 1 or 2 Static Shocks, depending on the version he's running. He used 1 Rummage earlier, but I don't think he discarded any statics. Yeah, he hasn't discarded a single static, so I don't want to play a Burblefish yet. I think I can just play the other Shadestalker for now. If he plays another Sentry, I think second Sentry is very unlikely here, but if he does, then he taps under, and I think we can have a good likelihood to kill him at that point. So what's his range? He could have the 3rd Tri-Beam, but you would play it there if you had it, I think, actually. It's probably a fast option, so stuff in the Static and Mystic range, what areas? I could play 1 Burblefish before Zap. If I play Zap, I'm not going to bait out anything. Like, the fact that he passed now means I can't bait out more mana. So I should play 1 Burblefish, because if it's a spell I want to play, then I get to Zap and get the free value out of the Attune. So I get to spell for 0 mana, which can sometimes matter. That would only matter if both spells from the Burblefish I wanted to play. But this Shakedown is sort of sick. I can potentially like Fortune Croaker now and threaten the Ezreal with that, which allows us to go more aggressively. So I guess I can just Fortune Croaker right now. Basically we're not zapping anymore. Wait, is that right? Like, Fortune Croaker dragging Ezreal is the same thing as zapping, unless I zap into Hosh. What are our odds of hitting Hosh? We haven't played a single Hosh this game, right? We've played a bunch of Guidings and Pales and no Hosh. The odds of zap hitting Hosh are too high. I have to zap. I think I have to zap here. I don't think I can really go in for other stuff. Unfortunate. So, Burblefish doesn't really draw us much here. Spell Thief is still an option. Hit Spell Thief. So we need Flock or Mystic so that we can kill the Ezreal. Right now, because we have no land units, even though the Ezreal's vulnerable, it doesn't really matter. We're nuts. Yeah, we are kind of crazy. So the mana efficiency actually just kind of mattered there. So I guess I just Thermo the Ezreal right now. I mean, we're just maximizing damage, right? Rummage is almost adorable, but I guess it's got to be Thermo. His option could be second Ezreal. If it's second Ezreal, then this Thermo's kind of doing very little, but that also means he gets exact lethal. If he's second Ezreal, then he loses. Because he only has 1 mana and takes exactly 7 damage here. So we remove a blocker for free with that Spell Thief Thermo. And now, unless he has static, we're good. Second Ezreal means we win. GG. Woo! Ah! Close one. Ah! That was a tight game. Blade's Edge. Sometimes they do actually run Blade's Edge. Yeah, that sequencing on that last turn was really important. We made a lot of very important decisions that game. I might have misplayed the Guiding Touch, by the way. I used Guiding Touch in a position where I couldn't brick Flock with it, which might have been incorrect. There was something about that turn that I could have maybe done in a different way. I don't even know how. I think that a lot of the other decisions we made were really integral to our ability to win. Big Brain red card? Dude, that red card for 1 damage. That red card for 1 damage literally won us the game. That looked so weird when I did it. Like, I saw 1 or 2 people in chat saying, like, that was such a weird play. That red card literally won us the game. We have to just inch our damage. That's just the only way we win there. That's so funny. Oh. Dude, yeah, dude, this is a really fun meta right now. It's a very, like, Galaxy Brain meta, I will say. Like, there's a lot of decks that are kind of, like, annoying and they've been powerful for a while and you probably don't like seeing them over and over again, like Go Hard TF. But for the most part, the good decks are pretty skill intensive. Like, more so than... We've seen some points in the past where it's been a lot more brainless.